Hello Flosstube, my name is Mariam, our pronouns are she, her. You may know me as MarroomyCrafts on Instagram or MarroomyDesigns on Etsy. Welcome to my Flosstube Extra. That means that I do have a new pattern to introduce to you, and without further ado, ta-da! This is Bivas Sampler. Bivas is ancient name for bat. There is a bat here. This is 190 by 190 on a 20 count BeStitchMe Aida in Sorbet, and I use Sulky 12 weight in black to stitch it. This is a companion piece to my other, you see it right there, my other sampler that I released last year called Afghan Sampler. It's the same size as Afghan Sampler. Afghan Sampler was more botanical, so all the elements and motifs and bands were botanical. This one has a lot of critters on it. So of course there's a bat. There are roosters here. This band is traditionally, I intentionally did not touch this to change it into anything else that is more resemblance of the animal intentionally. This is called crab for some reason. Doesn't look like crabs, but it's called crab band. So yeah. And then these are like camels and some humans. Some rams up here, flying unicorn. This is an ode to a special person who actually is one of the reasons why I ended up designing this, because I was in between designing this pattern for Sampler September or having it be ready for Black Sampler November. In the end, because D, our Stitch Daddy, was stitching my Afghan at the time, and they were going on and on about like how they love band samplers. So I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna finish this design and release it sooner. So D, this band is an ode to you. And these are all sort of like a yin yang birds here. This is a band of a snake, and these are some lovebirds. So this is similar to Afghan Sampler. It's a Vagire style of samplers. Sampler is not something that was really common in Iran. However, for a short period of time, there were these style of rugs that were made that were essentially samplers, and they were called Vagire, meaning that they, the designer would, when they were working on a project, like an order for a customer, they would create these like sampler kind of things, like small rugs with different corner designs, different central motifs, as well as a lot of bands that are like the borders that will be used in the rug with different color configuration and all of that. So then the person would just look at it and decide which border they liked and which design they preferred and what coloring, right? So for that period of time, these samplers were made, these sampler rugs were made, but they were like worth nothing. So we don't have a lot of them left in the world. The few that are left right now, they're exceedingly like collectible and really, really expensive now, because how hard it is to actually find one, and find one that are in good condition, because a lot of these end up actually becoming like everyday rugs that the rug makers actually used in their own houses. So they were like everyday use, like they walked on it, they dropped things on it. Some of them were burned essentially, so they deteriorated over time, and because they are like all natural fibers, they actually, after a while they deteriorate. So because of that, we don't have a lot of them left. So those that are left are really, really expensive. So I decided to, take a leaf out of that page and try to create these. So both Afshan and this Bivas, now both of them are Vagire samplers basically. So that's the style, right? So bands, a lot of different bands, and I decided to add a center motifs as well to both of them. So that one had Afshan flower and this one had Bivas, which is the bat. So this is available right now in my Etsy shop. The link is below, and if you follow the link tree, you can find my shop. Right now I'm actually running a sale, and this, even though this is a really brand new release, I included it in a sale because I feel like it's Sampler September and people want to stitch on samplers, and especially if someone has been eyeing my designs and were hesitant because they're not really sure if they will enjoy stitching them or not. This is your chance because all of my samplers are now 20% off through September 4th. So go ahead and check it out and see what you like and purchase it. And please use the hashtag Bivas Sampler on Instagram if you're on Instagram, or MarroomyDesigns on Instagram, so I can actually see your progress. I love seeing what you do with the patterns and how you stitch them and the color combination that you come up with. This is just what I chose for myself because when I stitch a model, I always pick what I like, right? This as a designer and as a stitcher. What do I like to stitch right now, and what do I like to, for my sampler to look as a stitcher, not as a designer. As a designer, I'm giving you a starting point. So this is just a sample, so you actually see what the finish can look like if you are stitching it in one color, right? But sky is the limit. You want to go all colorful, go all colorful. I encourage you to do that. You want to add some color, add some color. You want to use variegated thread, go ahead, do that. None of the things that I actually use in my patterns are called for. They're suggested. They're not really called for, none of them. These are things that I use as a stitcher. You're not obligated to use the same material. So do what you like. You don't want to stitch the whole thing, just stitch this. You have plenty of borders to pick from, and just frame that little bat with whatever border you like, and that will be it, right? Yes, as I said, just share your progress. I really enjoy following people's progress on my designs. There is nothing like more fun to see what people choose to do with the pattern that you designed out there. Okay, so that is it. I hope that you take care of yourself, and as much or as little stitching that you have these days, that is enjoyable to you and fills your cup. Have a nice day. Bye.